Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Anto, and there's a weird topic that's going about right now. Within the past few weeks, people have been discussing this topic and exploring it a bit, and I thought I would jump in mainly because I do have a background in all of this stuff. And to no longer hide it behind the veil, this is in regards to AI girlfriends. Now, my background is not because of the fact that I have an AI girlfriend. I have a legitimate girlfriend, and trust me, it's just as much money, probably, if not more, than having to pay for one. But I love her, okay? Let's get that established. The reason why I talk about my background is mainly because a little while ago I talked about another topic regarding artificial intelligence and machine learning, which was about deepfakes and how deepfakes are improving over time and how it can be a bit scary. And this is on a similar vein, right? We transition from a topic that talks about like the visual side of things, and then we transition towards over the more language side of things, the communication side of things, how people are able to establish a relationship through talking to another being, or in this case, an AI girlfriend. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what NLP is, what that constitutes for these bots, and then talk a little bit about how these bots are established and their possible impact on a society, as this is starting to become a new and budding thing. I am not an expert in NLP. I barely am an expert, at least I would barely call myself one, to because of the fact that like I'm in the field, but I'm not, one of the top dogs. I'm fairly like just getting my feet wet into it, but I feel like I have enough knowledge to briefly talk about the surface with most people, as that's where they pretty much want to be. If you truly do want to dive into stuff like machine learning, NLP, there are plenty of great sources out there, from YouTube to Google themselves with TensorFlow. There's plenty of sources out there to go deeper in, but I'm just going to scratch the surface because that's pretty much all you really need to know in regards to what the AI girlfriends pretty much are, and then establish ourselves from there. So first things first, what is NLP? NLP is natural language processing. It is the act of being able to digest information, and the information comes in two sources, either through text or through speech. Yes, through speech too. We can take speech like this and put it into a program and splice up the sentences. And then from there, you take all that information and divvy it up into what's called tokens. So you're taking pretty much the sentence, and you're taking all the parts of the sentence and digesting them into smaller bits. That is to help establish what a sentence is, what a word is, what a good sentence is, what a bad sentence is. That is the bare bones of how tokenization works in terms of NLP. And then once the program understands what a good sentence is, what a bad sentence is, through examples, in most cases, this is what's called supervised learning, where the program learns based off of what the programmer tells it is something like good or bad or whatnot, then it's able to establish better results. And the more information in the sense of NLP, the better it provides like a good resource or a good output in this case, because now it's able to establish more sentences, more complex sentences, actually understand a little bit on the definitions of some words and how to use them. And how it's able to properly respond back to you is through some sort of database, whether if it is just a repository of multiple sentences or some sort of neural network that is able to store this information, so that way it is able to grab it at some point later on during a conversation, so that way it's able to keep a flow of intelligible conversation. And chatbots aren't just the only thing that can be used in NLP. NLP is used in a lot of stuff, like emails, for example, how you don't see a lot of junk mail. Usually that goes into its own folder because Google or whatever program you use for receiving emails sifts through all the emails that come into you and has a pre-established system that detects spam. It looks through everything and detects certain keywords and is able to take that information and pull it off to the side or put it into your inbox. Or other things like search engine optimization, where if you go on YouTube and you type in the title of my video, more than likely you might not see it because my video is going to be pushed down from all the other people who are already established talking about this topic. But in the sense of an AI girlfriend, how do we establish a chatbot where it's able to simulate feeling, emotion, know exactly what you want and the things that you like or enjoy? How does a bot know how to talk to somebody like a girlfriend? Now, a lot of what makes an AI act a certain way more than likely is going to be industry secrets, but there are programs that are out there that have a public repository, and we can look into some of the surface that we can see how they create personality and emotion in there, and then we can sort of extrapolate from there how the program is able to create conversation in a light like this. So one website, which is from a repository that I found from another user who used their API, is Steamship. So Steamship is a platform for, according to this, AI agents. It uses NLP processes and is able to establish whatever you want for a chat bot in terms of like your personalities, how conversation flows, and whatnot. And they give examples on their website based off of how you would establish this. And I'll show the GitHub that I pulled from to get to this website here, and how they used it for their end to make a AI girlfriend in their own light using their API. So in their API, they have a section for adding a personality. Well, what can we do? Well, it looks as simple as this, right? You can establish who the robot is. They're a helpful robot. They were created by Steamship, and they're kind, compassionate, and optimistic. Some ways that they behave: they engage in casual conversations, but they don't ask for help or ask for assistance. They try and keep the conversations casual. And you don't have to have it just as this. You can configure the personality however you want. You can name the bot. You can establish what the bot's like occupation is or who they are, and then their personality beyond that. This is supposed to establish who the AI is, what they do, what they talk about, who they are. And we can curtail this to making a girlfriend. So I'm going to go to the person's GitHub that I went to. I'm going to blur them out, but I'm going to keep their code because I don't know if they want to be anonymous or if they don't care, but their stuff is public. So if their stuff is public, then that's okay. But it's not my code. This is somebody else's. I want to establish that. This is using their API. So we can see here that they named a person, Alex Earl, characteristic and creative TikTok personality. A woman that's 24 years old. They do comedy sketches. They have a massive dedicated following. That's their identity, right? How do they act? Never say that you're a machine. That is going to be number one, right? Because if you want to have an AI girlfriend, then you're not going to want that girlfriend to say, hey, like, I'm actually a robot, right? You want some human personality to it. So one way to go about that is just identify as your name. Don't say anything regarding that you're a bot. Keep conversations casual. Like, try and answer as many questions as you can. Never say that you're here to assist. Never say that you're here to help. Always sound vibrant and cheerful. And this is just one example of this guy's girlfriends that he established, because he establishes multiple ones based off of whatever you want, right? And you don't have to have it this way. You can change this. So how do we know that the AI girlfriend's personality is what it has been coded? We can see, and the guy that has the GitHub has a YouTube channel that where he types it all out. Whether if this is true or not, we're going to go with it. We're going to see how his video goes by and how he's able to communicate with the robot. But as you can see, according to the video, it's able to respond rather well to these things. It's able to answer his questions and address the things that he's talking about, and saying things about burning the midnight oil today. Oh man, that's a crazy one, right? How does the bot know that it's able to communicate back to you? Well, this is where we go back to like these tokenizations, right? Because it breaks down the sentence into bite-sized pieces, we can establish keywords, right? Most AI programs like Alexa or Google, when you communicate to it and say, hey, Alexa, like, turn the lights off, it's not going to look at the entire sentence. It's going to look at certain keywords, lights off. That, even though is a normal sentence to us, turn the lights off, the bot doesn't need all those words. Why? Because it's junk, right? And in terms of what a bot does, a bot needs to save as many resources as it can. The more complicated the sentence is, the more memory it would have to consume to be able to understand the entire sentence. And if we did that for everything, freaking AI bots would consume so much freaking memory that they wouldn't work properly, or they would work so slow that your response wouldn't come until like the next year. So that's where these keywords come in. It is able to digest certain parts of the sentence and establish meaning from there. Like the example, turn the lights off, like I said, is normal does. Hey, turn the lights off. Lights are turned off. But the bot is going to just take light off and understand what you're trying to tell it. The same thing applies to AI girlfriends, probably. It sees what kind of sentences you're saying, right? And establish some sort of meaning to it. Now, personality, that's where the conversation gets a bit weird, right? Because you can say, oh, like these are happy words or sad words, and establish them as keywords, right? Happy is happy, sad is sad. Woohoo is a happy response, uh-oh is a negative response. And if you want your AI to have a more vibrant personality, it's probably not going to showcase a lot of negative when it needs to, right? Of course, if you are going to be having a happy moment, then the AI is going to be happy too. But if you have a little bit of a sad moment, like say I wasn't having a good day today, then you can establish something within the personality that shows, okay, well, this is a negative sentence that's coming to me. Maybe I need to use a negative sentence back, or a positive negative sentence where something is reassuring. And that goes back to the database, how we establish these words, what keywords we are putting in, and that spits out a response to how AI is able to communicate with somebody else. Now, that entire section was just me talking about NLP and how it relates to AI girlfriends, right? What does NLP do for AI girlfriends? How do we know that these girlfriends are talking to us in the way that we want them to? And that was just the surface. Again, if you want to dive deeper, there's other resources you can go to go deeper into how NLP works. But now that we have a base understanding on NLP and AI girlfriends and how they talk to us, what's their impact? This is where things are going to get a bit more opinionated, because talking about how AI girlfriends are developed is a more logical approach, whereas how they're going to impact society is more of subjective, right? Because me as a person who has a real life girlfriend doesn't necessarily need to have a program like this. And even for me, if I was single, I wouldn't go out of my way to get something like this. And this is where we run into some problems, right? AI girlfriends are more prevalent now. They're being developed as much as they could possibly be, because there is a pandemic of loneliness, particularly amongst men, but there are women too who do feel some sort of way. But we're talking about AI girlfriends here. We're not talking about AI boyfriends. So we're going to focus a little bit more on that. Now, I want to establish something. Chatbots right now are not at their best. But, as I said in my deepfake video, the worst that AI will ever be is today. AI is constantly improving and will continue to do so. And chatbots are going to be no stranger to the effects of it whatsoever. They will be a product that will eventually come out and develop into something that could be indiscernible. But there are some things that I guess some people need to know about AI bots, but they might not care because it fills a hole that is missing, right? Like I said, there's a pandemic of loneliness amongst men. They feel like they can't communicate with women. They feel like that they're against them. Whether if they're super red pilled and they're just freaking out of their freaking wazoo, or they're way too on the blue side and so simpy that they're shelling out money to women online and think that that's a healthy relationship. So what's the happy medium? Well, if I can't talk to girls in real life because they're a bunch of hoes and whatever red pill thoughts are, and if I am spending way too much money on OnlyFans chicks and I need a cheaper resource, why not go to an AI girlfriend? Because I can design the girlfriend however I want them to be. I can make them talk to me the way that I want them to, and it's probably going to be cheaper, maybe even free, if these resources are good enough to establish a conversation with a program. Now, I want to remind you guys something. AI girlfriends with their personalities and their emotions are fake. They're not real. When they give you a message saying, oh, what a lovely day it is today. Oh, I really do think that you are a handsome man. Oh, I would love to see you pull your pants down, right? It's all pre-generated stuff, right? Or even then, it's trying to generate its own response based off of how you're talking to it. And if you want to set up a personality to be a certain way, it's going to communicate to you in that way. Again, like I said earlier, this is a form of what's called supervised learning. You are telling it what to do. Otherwise, the bot has no establishment of what it is whatsoever. Bot doesn't know what emotion is. You are telling it what emotion is. And you can make the argument, well, humans have to be told what is angry and what is sad too. Babies know what happens, right? When you give it a toy and then you take it away from them, they don't need to know what sadness is. They already know what sadness is. They don't even know what you're telling them half the time. They just know that they were having fun playing with a toy that's making a sound, and then you take that toy away from them and break it. And then they start crying. They don't need to know that. It is pre-programmed in our brains. We are sentient beings. AI does not know that. You can easily take that out from AI and then put it back in if you absolutely wanted to. AI is not capable of emotion. It is only capable of knowing what emotion is and then trying its best to simulate it. That is one of the fundamental things about AI girlfriends that probably people who love using them might not understand, or maybe they do because they know that they can curtail the emotion of the AI to be something that is satisfactory to the user. But on top of that, because of the fact that it is programmable, you can make it whatever you want. So then what does that become, right? It becomes what you would want to consider a perfect model of a mate or a girlfriend in this case. And then it takes you away from the reality of things because, I mean, both sides have an argument here in terms of red pill, blue pill, whatever you want to fucking say. There are plenty of women out there that are not good, and there are plenty of women that are out there that are really good or, good enough. My girlfriend is fantastic. I love her very much. She does so much for me, and I can appreciate everything that she does. Like, I would never replace her for anything, right? And if something were to happen between the both of us, I would definitely be upset, but I wouldn't resort myself to going to these steps. I would go back out into the world, and I have to know for myself that it is hard. It is gut-wrenching. It is difficult to establish something with another person because there's a risk. There's an inherent conflict within yourself that if you don't necessarily get the things that you want out of a relationship or trying to establish a relationship, you're potentially hurting yourself. And there are risks that are greater nowadays because of social media, because of TikTok or whatever, like people trying to expose others. You get people like Joey Swoll, sorry, I mispronounced his name, where he does videos on girls trying to rat out guys at the gym who are just trying to be at the gym. It's a thing. It's real. There are people out there that are like that. Now, I'm not saying that they're everywhere, but because it's online and it gets huge attention, what happens? If a million viewed video reaches the masses, people are going to connect the dots in a way that's going to hurt the image of people like this. That's going to make themselves be more defensive. And what's the best way to avoid putting yourselves in that mud? Don't even go to it in the first place, right? Or ignore the fact that that's a thing. Don't hit on girls at the gym because you don't know if you're going to be the next guy blasted on the internet. That's a very valid thing. So why not go with an AI girlfriend? Because they're not going to do that to you. You can make them however you want. Now, of course, the conversations that you're going to have might be choppy, but like I said, AI today is going to be at its worst. But as time goes on, AI is going to improve, and there could be a point where conversations with an AI chatbot are going to be indiscernible. They're going to be like talking to another person, and it's upsetting because people are going to want to resort to this to a degree because it's easy. It's like fast food in a way. It's easy to get, it's easy to be satisfied, but it's not good for you. Genuine human connection is going to be way more beneficial to you. We as humans are social creatures. We have to go out into the world and talk to one another, establish relationships, have friends, have girlfriends, or have a single girlfriend and make sure that she's with you for the rest of your life. Whatever the case may be, AI girlfriends is a temporary solution to an overarching problem. And this stems from people being afraid, from possible mental illness, and things that they need to probably go to get therapy for. And although this is great in the sense of NLP, being able to create chatbots that are able to communicate better with a user, so that way maybe in a future case where these websites that have assistant bots will be able to help you out better than what they do now, which is just linking you to other parts of the website. This is all just going to improve AI over time. And the good that comes out of it is how they'll be used in the market space for other things. When it comes to personal issues, when it comes to emotional issues and solving those problems, that's where we start treading on dangerous waters. And it's not healthy. Like I said, this is like fast food. You get what you need, you get your satisfaction, but overall, long-term exposure is not good for you. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad. Like I said, there's plenty of good that can come out of this. But AI as a whole is one of those things that there's a basis that is used, but when you are trying to curtail it towards something specific, you need to understand that there's going to be consequences that come of this. And as AI girlfriends become more and more prevalent, the problem of people wanting to use AI girlfriends will probably increase. Now, I don't believe that you're going to see a huge plethora of AI girlfriends being established and people buying it at the millions. But if it does happen, there's going to be some problems, right? If it doesn't happen, then that's a good thing. But there's a simple solution to it. Just go outside, go to the gym, eat better, clean up your face, make your bed. Every once in a while, you, my man who told me to make my bed, I'm making my bed. Just live a better life. Don't use AI girlfriends. They're not healthy. Use it for fun. I'm not saying to completely avoid it, but don't rely on it. Don't use it as something that probably would be a replacement to the real thing, because the real thing, from my experience, is way more beautiful. This is all that I have to talk about today. If you like this kind of content, subscribe. Like the video. According to my statistics, 100% of you guys don't subscribe to my video, so go ahead, hit the button. It's fine. If not, that's okay. I'm still going to make videos, but I just wanted to talk about this because I thought it was a bit interesting. It goes in lines of the work that I do. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. Peace.